And good afternoon, pinball fans. Nick's Pinball Chronicles channel. I wanted to go and do a more in-depth demonstration of when you have switch matrix issues in a WPC game like mine. They have a really handy tool or board from Siegecraft. Very inexpensive. I think it was like 20 bucks. And you can get the harnesses depending on what game you have. I think he makes them for Data East, Sega, and Stern, I believe, and Bally Williams, and Gottlieb, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're having switch matrix problems and you want to troubleshoot to rule out any bad switches on the playfield or bad switch wiring going to the playfield, you can isolate your switches coming from your playfield to the MPU board. Let me demonstrate. Like I said earlier, you have, obviously you probably have the manual to your game. So if you look at the switch matrix, you have a grid, an 8x8 grid of 64 switches, and not all are used, and depending on what game you have. But this will simulate the playfield switches when you hit them in the column and the row, so you can rule out, when you're troubleshooting, you can rule out any problems with your MPU or problems with your wiring going to your playfield when it comes to all the switches. Let me demonstrate. I got to take the back glass off. I'll plug it in and power it up, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, with the back glass off and the lamp board swung out of the way, you need to access your, all your electronics, your driver board, your Fliptronics 2 if you have it, soundboard, and DMD control. This is your MPU. Now, in almost every Williams WPC game in the 90s, the plugs are configured exactly the same. You got two plugs down here. One is 209 or 208. Just unplug that from the game. Here's the switches that go to the game. That is your rows. The plug right next to it, 206, 207. Those are your column switches. Unplug those. And you take your tester board and you plug it into your MPU. Make sure the pins are lined up. Plug that in. Make sure the pins are lined up. Push that in. And again, you're referencing your switch matrix diagram in your manual. You don't need to see the playfield. But the reason why I made this extension harness, it's normally not this long. It's normally about that long. On these games that have the DMD that's attached to the light board, some of the early 90s Bally Williams had this set up like this. I think Party Zone. There's a couple other ones, I believe, that have the DMD like this, but the earlier ones like Terminator 2, Twilight Zone, Addams Family, there's a separate speaker panel here where the DMD is attached to a speaker panel, and it's on a hinge, so you can actually fold it down and you have room to access the switchboard. But since I don't, and I want to look at my DMD, which is attached to my light board, I had to extend the harness. And again, you're referencing your matrix in your manual. So you just power up the game as normal, and the game will boot With mine, I have a pin sound. So the boot up sequence is a little different. You don't hear the bong like you would. You just hear the pin sound initiating music. Also, you want to open up the coin door to access the menu buttons. So I gotta move this stand out a little bit of the way. Turn the volume down a little bit so I can hear you. Okay. That's my pin sound. I love that board. Okay, so you access your menu buttons. Just hit your diagnostic. Go into, again, go to, oh, sorry, I hit my flipper button. Scroll till you get tests. And then hit enter again. And your first one will be edges. That's the test that you want to test with this board. Hit enter. Now, on my game, there's a couple switches that are normally closed. I believe this is switch number 25. Where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't have a name, but it's switch 24, and in my manual, it's just always closed. And let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's my 1, 2. I gotta count. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the out hole. There's a ball sitting in there now. That's probably why you're seeing that switch closed also. So what you do is you take your board and you have your columns and your rows. So when you want to simulate a switch, like let's say I want to hit, I want to use switch 21, which is column 2, row 1, and it's the slam tilt. You just hold the column button down, column 2, and you want to hit your row 1. And there it is, your slam tilt. So you're simulating the slam tilt switch. And that means that the switch in the game is working and the MPU is correctly picking up that switch in the grid. And you just go down the line. Let me see here. Switch column 2, row 2 is the coin door. Row 3 is the ticket opto. 24, that's always closed. 25 is the shooter. There it is, shooter. 26 is your, I gotta move my finger. Left out lane. Left return lane. And the sling's gonna go off here. That's your sling. Go to the next column, column 3, row, column 2, column 2, row 1 is not used, 2 is not used, there's the start button, next one is the plumb bob, that's the out hole, right trough switch, center trough switch, left trough switch, because mine, I have a 3-ball game. It would show, if you have a 5-ball game, it would show, you know, obviously 5 or 6 switches. Mine only shows 3 because I only have a 3-ball game. So you just keep going to make sure all your switches are working in your grid. I just did 2 earlier, so we'll go to 3, and here is column 3, row 1. That's the bottom stand-up target. There is the middle, bottom stand-up middle. That's good. Bottom stand-up bottom. Or top, I'm sorry. That's good. Next one is the fire button. That's good. The cannon kicker. That switch is good. That lets the game know that the ball's in the scoop, so it fires the cannon. Next one down is your right out lane on the playfield. That's good. Your right return. And the last one is the slingshot on the other side. All the switches in that row and column are good. So you know that the game is good, the playfield and wiring are good, and the MPU is sending the correct signals. Go to the next one, go to 4, middle, stand up top, because I have 3 target banks in my, 3 stand-up target banks in my game. Stand up mid, stand up bottom. That's the ramp enter, left loop. There's the jet, the pop bumper. There's the middle, and there's the right. All those switches are good in that column. Go to 5. Top, stand up bottom. Top, stand up mid. Top, stand up top. Ramp down switch. Here's the ball popper switch. Right ramp made. Your jet bumper exit, and your jet bumper enter. So far so good. All my switches are operating as advertised. And you don't need to use jumpers if you don't have this board. You're always opted to do the jumper thing, which is still good, because you'll also see if you're pressing the switch and like a row or column are going off at the same time, or you're going to short a row or column switch short, that is more than likely your chip on the MPU. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, we're going to 6. Let me see, did I already do 6 already? There's the subway. That's to enter the cannon. Backboard ramp. Top stand up. I'm sorry, that's the lockup number 1 for the multi-ball. Lockup number 2 switch. Right single. Subway bottom. That one's not used, and that one's not used. Go on to row 7. Lockup enter. Middle ramp. Not used. Not used. Right. Let me see, 7, 5. Right ramp enter. There it is. Right ramp enter. Not used. Not used. Again, depending on what game you have, these switches won't be used, or they will be used. They just use the same grid for every Williams and Bally game in that era, just to make it easier for manufacturing. Okay, go to the last column, which is column 8. That first one is not used. Not used, not used. For some reason that one's not registered. Oh, because that column's not used. That row 8 isn't being used at all in my game. That's why I'm not getting anything. So my entire column 8 is nothing, because I'm not getting anything because there's no switches in my game in column 8. But a game like Twilight Zone or Roadshow, where it's a wide body and you have a lot of switches on the playfield, they would utilize that extra column for 8 more switches or whatever they needed for the game. This outside grid here is your dedicateds for your volume, your coin doors, your flipper buttons. These are all dedicated switches out here. And that's pretty much it. So now you know that the game is good and your MPU is receiving the right switch signals and telling the game where the switch is, and the switch is activated. So it's a really good troubleshooting tool. Let me get out of this. I'll go into normal mode and I'll power off the game. Okay, now we're back to a track mode. Let me power down. Okay, close the coin door. And when you're done troubleshooting, you just take your Siegecraft card and just disconnect it. and plug in the regular game switches back into the board. It's that easy. Unplug the Siegecraft and plug in the games connectors. And the ULN 2803 is that chip I was talking about. If you have a short in a row or a column, or you have multiple switches being activated at the same time, for some reason, a solenoid bracket or a high-powered part of the playfield accidentally hit a switch, and it actually blows this little chip right there before it damages the game. It's just the way the game's designed. I've done it a few times with some other help from guys on Facebook and Pinside. They helped me kind of understand how this works. And those chips are very inexpensive. They're like, I have like a set of 20 for like 20 bucks. So I have spares if I ever have a problem again. But yeah, that's how you troubleshoot your switch matrix. Again, you can use jumpers, but this tool is very, very handy when you want to troubleshoot your switch problems. So that's the lesson for today. I hope it helps other people. I did do a demonstration of this a while ago, but I wasn't in depth, but that is how you do it. And that concludes. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the day.